Hey, welcome back to day 4. So today we've moved up the chakras right to probably the most famous of the chakras is the heart chakra, the most discussed chakra among yoga teachers. So the heart chakra, feelings or ideas associated with the heart chakra are a feeling of warmth, loving kindness, compassion towards all beings. These are all attitudes that will help to activate and open the heart chakra. We learned about attitudes and ideas that will help to activate the lower chakras. So that's how through your how you present yourself, how you carry yourself, how you can help to activate this energy center in your body. So it's at the level of your heart, and it's actually at the center of your chest, not over to the side with your heart, where the chakra is. But ways that we can activate this through physical practice is by back bending, opening the chest, or just standing and doing the practice with an open chest. So one of my favorite quotes that my teacher always used to say, if you want an open chest, you don't have to do a lot of chest openers. You just have to have an open chest. You have to work your standing poses, work your practice while holding your chest open. That's very difficult because our tendency is to sit like this. So one of the physical signs that someone has a closed heart chakra is that their posture is like this all the time. And as you start to open up, you might even feel that your attitudes and your ideas start to change just by opening yourself up that way. You start to have a more loving, compassionate attitude. Maybe. You could still be a jerk and have an open chest, I think. So today we're going to start off with a little supported back bend, which should be really nice to open up the heart. And we're going to do it over a bolster because this is nice and soft for your heart. So there's going to be a bolster right at the little gap for the lower back, and then it's more into the upper back is where I'm putting the base of the bolster. Then you might need, like Stacy doesn't need a blanket underneath her head, but if your back is very tight, you might feel that your head kind of tips back, the chin tips back. So you could put, and I'll just grab a blanket to show what it would look like. You could put a blanket underneath your head if that's the case, just like this. Folded or not folded. Now I want to make sure that the bolster isn't pushing your solar plexus, Manipura chakra open, because we already dealt with that yesterday. So make sure that you're positioned on the bolster so that it feels like it's opening your heart chakra. If you don't have bolsters, you can do one block in your upper back, one block for your head. That works too. Okay, then just take the legs into crisscross applesauce position, simple cross legs, and just relax here for a little bit. Let the chest open with your eyes closed. So feel as your chest is starting to open, start by directing your breath all the way down towards your pelvis. Just reviewing, going through the chakras again. Draw towards the pelvis, then towards the belly. Then allow the breath to come up into the ribs and up into the upper chest before you let it all go. So this is the way that we want the breath to move. We did different breaths throughout the last few days, like just into certain areas. But we want the breath to move from down low and then all the way up into the chest. This is making sure that you're an efficient breather, and this type of breathing will help with your posture to help to maintain an open chest so that your accessory breathing muscles aren't overworking. So your heart chakra is your healing center. Many spiritual traditions recognize the power of living with an open heart and recognize that this is like the ultimate healing force. And a lot of our decisions come from our thinking mind instead of from our heart. So by opening the heart, we can allow ourselves to be more led by our heart, which of course is not a real thing. This is not, you cannot actually be, if you try to overthink this, then you'll say this is nonsense. So it's more of a feeling. Now take your arms up to the ceiling, cross your elbows, and slowly start to reach your elbows overhead. And by being more connected to the heart, we become more in touch with truth, with the sacred, and the truth that connects everything, the interconnectedness of nature and of all beings. When we're disconnected, we view others as separate from ourselves, but when we're connected to the heart and living through the heart, we feel more connected with those around us. Bring your arms back up, change the clasp of the elbows, and slowly let your arms start to fall back. And living from the heart chakra is so powerful that it can have the ability to help to unify. Then bring your arms back up and release your arms at your side. Roll over to your side now, and then come onto your hands and your knees. All right, set yourself up for a little bit of cat-cow. So start by rounding your back and look back towards your navel. Then as you inhale, start from the pelvis, tip the pelvis, and then start to wheel your chest forward. And we're going to pause here in this position for a moment. Then visualize the whole heart chakra area of the chest cavity, upper ribs, as being expanded with air. So this is the element of the heart chakra is air, color is green. So just visualize there's space, all infinite space there where we tend to be closed off. And then as you exhale, start to round your back. Good. Inhale to arch your back. And exhale to round. Then come into neutral. Okay, now the last anatomical thing I want to say before we get too deep into this is that often I see that yogis that are fully living from their heart, they're so open that they've forgotten about the chakras just below, which is why it's important to work your way up the chakras and have an understanding of all of them. Because if it's just heart, there's going to be a tendency to neglect the two chakras just below, well, root chakra as well. And physically, those yogis run into problems because they're very deep backbenders usually, and they'll borrow from their lower back. So let's do one more arch back position. Wheel the chest forward. Now just feel that all the back bend isn't coming from the lower back to open up your heart, but instead you're drawing from the frontal hip bones up into the chest. And then there's where you're getting your heart opening. Okay. Then come back into neutral and stretch back into downward facing dog. And we're going to work with that more. And that's why I mentioned on Swadhisthana Day how we should be getting that opening from the front of the pelvis to go up into the chest. Connecting from lower inner spine instead of just hinging and focus only on the heart. Heart is super important. Other chakras are important too. Then walk your hands back to your feet. Clasp your hands behind your back. Draw your shoulder blades towards each other. So the muscles in your back, by keeping those muscles healthy and strong, like we learned in like the band. We learned that the whole upper body movement series, by exercising those muscles in the back, it helps to set the shoulders in position. It holds the chest open more. So by waking up those muscles, we can help the chest muscles to start to open and stay open throughout the day, so that they don't build all the excess tension from the shoulders hanging forward and down. Change the interlock of the hands. That was a very long-winded way of me saying, stretch your arms right now. Okay, it was a little overdone probably. Good, then come back up, hands onto your hips. Now this stretch has been one of my favorite lately. I want you to take your right foot, cross it behind your left foot, and then as you reach down through your right outer hip towards your right heel, lift from your belly through your side waist, take your right arm up, with your left hand take your wrist and reach up and over. So also if your lat muscles and neck muscles are very tight, they're going to want to pull your shoulder head up and forward, which is going to close your chest. So if we can open up those muscles, the shoulders will be able to set back into place better. The chest will be able to open with ease. Come back up, change sides, change the cross of the legs. Good. And reach down through your left outer hip. Remember your lower chakras. Draw energy from the navel. All four sides of the waist. Oh yeah, all that stuff. Good, I'm glad you're learning. Come back up. Uncross the legs, both arms up now. Reach up. Lift through the sides of the waist. Open the heart now towards the hands. And then fold forward. Uttanasana. Inhale, make a flat back. Lengthen out your spine. Walk your hands out into plank pose, one handprint at a time. Hold there with your chest open. Yeah, so as you're strengthening your body in a plank position, you should be able to do it with your chest open. If your shoulders are rounding, the chest is narrowing, that's no good. It'd be better to keep your knees down and work on opening the heart. But the more you open your chest, the more you're going to want to sink in the Manipura chakra. So keep all four sides of the waist long so that you're not compromising the health of the adrenals, kidneys, lower back, crushing into there. No good for those. Then set the left knee down onto the floor. We're going to take side plank with the left hand, left knee down. So put the left hand in the middle and then open up. Good. All four sides of the waist long. Then instead of, most commonly I see common misconception with lifting your heart. Very common instruction for teachers say to lift your chest. To lift does not mean to project forward. I'm showing projecting forward, which is making me bite in and sacrifice Manipura chakra. If your chest is sinking, a yoga teacher might say to lift your chest, which just means to bring it up into position where it's open. So a better instruction, I think, is to open the chest. Think of spreading it horizontally. And also spreading correspondingly across the tops of the blades. Like you're trying to expand an energetic orb. Think of energetic orb instead of just front body. Then stretch your left leg out behind your right without closing the orb of the chest. All the sides, back, front. Keep expanding into it while still expanding the Manipura orb. Pelvic orb, pelvic floor open towards the ankles. Lower the right hand, right knee. And change sides. So right hand, right knee down now. Open up to the side. Good. So as you stretch from the back of your right shoulder into your hand and root down through all the knuckles and the fingerprints. Now keeping the chest open, see if you can stretch your leg out behind. Right leg out behind the left. Breathe. Feel the breath expand from down low up into the chest cavity. Open up all four sides. Head back in line with the spine so there's not undue strain on the chest. And then slowly come back down onto your hand and stretch back into child's. Downward facing dog, come back up. Then lie down onto your belly and stretch your arms back behind you. Okay, so super important, let's just review the legs because that's going to affect if we can get into the heart chakra properly. So I adjust Stacy's thighs so that all four corners of the knees point straight down. That's a neutral position of the thigh bone. When that happens, the inner groin should release up to the ceiling, way up high by the root of the thigh. And then, as the tailbone lengthens towards the heels, she's going to take from the sides of the belly, from the sides of the front of hip bones, in towards the belly and up towards the heart, and then lift the chest up. The hands press down. Now the blades come onto the back to help to open up the chest. Good. Now, I'm less interested about how high you can come up, because I don't want you just to hinge from the part of the spine where the Manipura Swadhisthana chakras are. So keep the space through there as you open up the chest. Very difficult to do, requires a lot of mental focus. Okay, now, can you lift your hands up, still keeping the chest open? And then slowly slide your hands underneath your elbows and turn the fingers to point forward. When the hands go into that position, the shoulders are going to want to sink onto the chest again. So still keep spreading across the front of your chest. Now let's focus on the front. And then slowly roll into up dog, still keeping the shoulder heads back in position. So you can see where Stacy's chest is in relationship to her upper arm bone. Her chest is in front of her arm bone's behind. That's what you want to have an open heart in up dog. But keep lifting from the front of the hip bones up into the chest so you're not just hinging this part of your back, causing violence there and closing those chakras. Downward facing dog, stretch back. So that fire right there will burn your lower back real bad, real quick, is what I've learned, if we're not activating the fire from Manipura Swadhisthana properly. Walk your feet all the way forward. Inhale, make a flat back, lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come all the way up to stand, raise your arms up. Exhale the hands to your heart. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Step your left leg back into a lunge and lower your knee down. Inhale, raise your arms up. Exhale, downward facing dog, stretch back. Inhale, raise your left leg up. Exhale, shift into plank, pull your knee up to your chest and step your foot all the way up by your thumb. Lower your back knee. Inhale, raise your arms up. Exhale, fingertips to the mat, curl your back toes under, lift your back knee and step your back leg forward. Uttanasana. Inhale, come all the way up, raise your arms up. Exhale the hands to your heart. Inhale, raise the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Step your right leg back into a lunge and lower your knee down. Inhale, raise your arms up. Exhale, downward facing dog, stretch back. Inhale, raise the right leg up from the inner thigh. Exhale, shift into plank, pull your knee up. Step your foot all the way up by your thumb. Lower your back knee and inhale, raise the arms up. Exhale, hands to the mat, curl your back toes under, lift your back knee up. Then step your back leg forward and fold forward. Inhale, come all the way up, raise your arms. Exhale the hands to your heart, Samasthiti. Inhale, raise your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, make a flat back, lengthen. Step back and lower to Chaturanga. Keep your heart open as you lower. Let me see if you have the strength in your back muscles. Oh, pretty good. Upward facing dog, inhale. Down dog, exhale. If you really struggle with Chaturanga, I highly recommend doing the upper body movement series, which I posted at the end of April and beginning of May. Step your right foot, warrior one. Turn your back heel down. Inhale, come up. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Step your left foot, warrior one. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, down dog. Good, now step your right foot all the way up by your right thumb. And step your back foot a little bit closer as you turn your heel down. Come up onto fingertips or come up onto blocks to get a flat back, whatever you need. Reach your sit bones straight back. Now start with your waist. Lengthen the four sides of your waist. Then spread your collarbones and reach your heart forward. But make sure that you have the length of the waist as you reach your heart forward so you're not just hinging in your back. So what this is going to do, being able to hold a flat back, is activating your paraspinals in your thoracic spine to help to teach your spine to be able to hold you with an open chest even as you're tipping forward, which is where everybody tends to round when they go to like bend over to get something, and that's how we throw out our lower back. The fire from the lower back burns that lower back out. So if you can train your spine to be healthier in positions like this, it will help the heart chakra to stay open and will also help to prevent injury in the body, which is kind of cool that the heart chakra worked out that way. And then float your arms back behind you, keep all that length, and holding the length there, step up to balance. Raise your back leg up from the inner thigh. Good, now bend your right knee and as smooth as you can, take a big step back into crescent. Raise your arms up. We're getting super tricky now. 3 poses on one side. Bring your hands to your heart. Lean your chest out over your knee and twist. Bring your left elbow to the knee. Good. So also to help with the health of the thoracic spine is twisting. Twisting is really good to help with those muscles to keep them healthy, because when they get, we want them to be strong but also flexible. And this is to keep them mobile. Bring your hands back to the mat. Step back to down dog or out of vinyasa, your call. Then step your left foot up to your left thumb. Step your back foot a little bit closer and set yourself up for Parsvottanasana. So up on the blocks or up on your fingertips, but make sure that you truly have a flat back. Like I could lay a foam roller on your back, be nice and even from tail to crown. You can always check in a mirror to make sure if you haven't already. Some days it's different. Lengthen the 4 sides of the waist. Reach your chest forward like I pulled your heart forward and pulled the back muscles, the shoulder blades down the back more for you. Breathe the legs longer. From the hips connecting to the feet. Oh, then remember from the Manipura chakra, from our center, expand in all the directions. Expand through the body from your center. Then float your arms back behind you, still feeling the length of the four sides of your waist. Navel draws up to support the chest, and then lean into Warrior Three. Step up. So your chest support comes from the pelvic floor lift and the lower belly lift. So it's hard to be a very open, loving person if your base needs aren't being met, unless you're some type of saint. But for the normal human being, that's very difficult. So that's the root chakra energy. Bend your knee and step back into crescent as smooth as you can. Arms up. Then bring your hands to your heart. Lean your chest out over your knee and twist. Take your elbow to your knee. Then bring your hands down onto the mat and step back to downward dog. Good. All right, step your right foot. Actually, let's revisit Swadhisthana instead. And set the knees down, point the toes back, sit back in between your heels on your block or blocks or chair or something into Virasana, whatever you need. Take enough support that it's okay on your knees. Now, if this is too gnarly on your knees, you can just sit with your feet in front of you and do a reverse plank instead. Walk your hands a foot behind you. Then lift your butt up a little bit and move the flesh of your buttock out of your lower back. Good. Start to stretch from the thighs down into the knees, and then lift. Take the frontal hip bones, the skin just on the inside of the frontal hip bones, in towards the navel, and then up towards your heart. Then roll your chest open as you keep stretching down through the quads into the knees. Now, in your chest, where it feels like it wants to contract, just visualize air and space there. The heat from your belly is filling your chest like a hot air balloon. Expand it in all the directions. From the pelvic floor, fan the flame of the belly all the way up into the chest, and then slowly lower your buns back down. So that's how chest opening works. Energetically, from the flame of the chakras below, from the lift of your pelvic floor, you can fan the flame to help to open up and expand. I just said that, but just in case you were in the pose and you weren't really listening. Okay. So now let's do a couple of belly back bends, trying to get that same energy. So lie down onto your belly, get that block out of there. Clasp your hands behind your back and lift your shoulders, head, chest up. Good, make sure the thighs are in their neutral position, then lift one leg up and the other. Now, if you feel the energy sink into your lower back, you know what to do. From the pelvic floor, draw up. From the inside of the frontal hip bones, take that skin in and up and draw it up into your chest. That's anatomically what you do. Energetically, visualize that the energy moving up your pelvis is fanning the flames in your belly to help to fill into the chest so the chest can expand. One might work better for you than the other based on what kind of person you are. You might say the second is hogwash. It makes no sense. That's okay. Actually, I don't know why you're doing this whole sequence then. It's probably boring for you and weird. Lower yourself back down. Rest one cheek on the mat. Just relax. Good. And as you roll up now, just feel that the shoulder head is drawing back into position so that the chest can expand. 2 more breaths. Good job. Stretch back to down dog. Hop through to seated. And then let's try it, the grand finale, Urdhva Dhanurasana. Let's give it a shot. Okay, so I'm going to teach Urdhva Dhanurasana. My favorite way is balancing on the crown of the head for a moment. If you have a bad neck situation, this is not the one for you. But if your neck is healthy, you can try this one. First, just put your hands into Urdhva Dhanurasana position. And make sure that your triceps can turn your elbows in without shrugging your shoulders. If this is difficult for you, again, a shameless plug for the arm movement sequence. This will, with the curtain rod, will help your arm to train it to stay in this position while keeping your chest open. Okay, now just lift your hips up without the elbows splaying out. And then if possible, lift up onto the crown of your head for a breath. Hold there, and as the crown of the head reaches, activate the thoracic spine so the chest opens, and then maybe go all the way up. Lower yourself back down, take a breath. Did you like the crown of the head thing? That's my favorite, because it really helps the dorsal spine to move. You're using your upper chakras, which we haven't even learned about yet. Just wait, we'll get there. Go back up again, bridge or Urdhva, 5 breaths. If the Urdhva is not right for you, don't do it. Good, then slowly lower yourself down and just relax now. Take Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together, knees wide apart. Rest one hand on your belly and just let your belly rise and fall with your breath. Then bring your knees together, spread your arms out at the side, cross your right knee over your left knee, and shift your hips over to the right a little as you let your knees fall over to the left. Bring your knees and your hips back to center. Change the cross of the legs. Shift the hips over to the left a little. Let the knees fall over to the right. Then bring your knees and your hips back to center. Hug your knees gently into your chest. Then take happy baby, reach onto the insides of the knees, grab a hold of the outsides of your feet. Good, hug the knees back into the chest. Then one leg at a time, stretch your legs out for corpse pose. Let your palms turn up at your side and just relax. So when you're living with the heart chakra open, we'll find ourselves being compassionate and kind to others, but also loving to the self, so that you'll know when to say no, you'll know when it's time to go in and take care of yourself and to nurture the self. And one of the best ways, of course, is through your practice, through your meditation, through your yoga practice. This is how we restore and rejuvenate and reconnect to the heart so that we have good energy to share with others. So just remember, you can't transmit what you don't have. By doing the work on the base chakras and setting ourselves up to be able to give, to be able to share with others, and to be able to help heal others, that's when we're really living connected from and through the heart. Take a slightly fuller, deeper breath in and out through your nose. Then gently bend the knees and roll over to your right side. Press yourself up to seated. Bring your palms together. Thank you. Namaste. All right. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed today's class, and I'll see you tomorrow.